Hello yogis and welcome to day 5. I'm so proud of you. You've made it halfway through this series. You've made it through a difficult core strengthener, challenging standing poses, and just starting to incorporate yoga into your daily routine. It can be difficult. But today is the day to relax and restore. Today's practice is called yin yoga with a twist. So yin yoga is traditionally long holds of postures, deep stretching, very slow, very calming for the nervous system. And the twist is going to be, we're going to add a lot of twisting movements into today's practice. And instead of only focusing on long pose holds, we're going to be working through nice feel-good movements, flowy movements, and generally just calming movements for the nervous system. So go ahead and sit like I'm sitting. So propped up tall on your sit bones. Knees are bent, feet are flat on the ground. Make sure if you're using props you have them. So I have 2 blocks, I have a folded blanket, and I also have a strap. So a strap with a loop on the end. You can also use a belt, a tie, you can use a rolled up towel. It's something that you'll be able to grab onto your foot with. So go ahead and find some more length in this pose. Fingertips are pointing to the back wall, knees are pointing up, and I'm pulling my chest through. So finding a squeeze of the shoulder blades together. So when it comes to twists, we always want to twist from a position of length. So if our spine is all shortened up and we start to twist, we can injure our discs. It's not really good for our spine, but if we find length before we twist, then our vertebrae have a bit more room to slide and glide on each other. Twists can be incredibly restorative movements. They can help to really wring out our internal organs, establish new blood flow to areas, and they can just feel really good. So from here, maybe extend your legs long and keep pulling your chest through. Maybe gaze comes slightly up. Make sure you're breathing. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice, you can do so now. My intention is going to be to find as much length in my spine as I can. And then go ahead and bend your knees again. And we'll separate your feet a little bit more, about the width of your mat. And we'll start to rock both knees to the left, and then rock both knees to the right. Chest turning in the direction of the knees, maybe coming up onto fingertips, and turning the head in the direction that the knees are twisting. The next time your knees go over to the right, lift up your left hand and bring it to the outside of your right knee. And use that as a little bit more twist, keeping length in the spine, keeping the chest up. Maybe starting to turn to look over the right shoulder. And then swap it out. Let the knees go over to the left and bring the right hand to the left knee and twist. One more of those on each side, really wringing everything out, introducing this twisting movement to the spine, which is just so healthy for you. One more. Finding length in that twist. And the knees come back to the middle, and then we'll cross at the ankles, and then pull forward to hands and knees. Now pushing the ground away, we're going to pull our right foot in between our hands. This would be a great time to have a block or something else to give you some extra height underneath your left hand. So we're coming into a twist here. Go ahead and inhale and reach the right arm back actually to the back of the room, as if you're trying to give someone a handshake behind you. Feeling this twist. And as we inhale, we're going to lift up. So now the right hand is pulling to the back of the room. The left hand is pulling to the front of the room. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Gaze can be directly to the right side of your mat or maybe back towards your back hand, really trying to bring length into your fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, start to drop your right hand down to your left hamstring, the back of your left thigh, as your left arm comes up and over. So this is our exalted crescent pose. Not letting the head tilt too far back, but keeping the head nice and tall so you have length in the back of your neck, and chest is pulling up to the sky, finding a gentle back bend here. Inhale. Exhale. Now reach both arms up to the ceiling. Go ahead and tuck the back toes and really firm up that left glute, finding length in your spine, reaching your hands up to the ceiling. And go ahead and find the right hip with the right hand. And then start to lean the torso forward, reaching through the left fingertips as far as you can, creating as much length in the spine as you can, before eventually hooking the left elbow on the right or on the outside of the right knee, finding our crescent twist. So feeling how you created length in your spine by reaching forward before you initiated the twist. And then using the pressure of your left elbow against your right knee, press back, press your right knee against your left elbow. Maybe the gaze goes up to the sky, chest pulling up towards the sky. Maybe you stay here and breathe. Or maybe hands come to heart center and you press the palms together, right elbow pointing up to the sky. With every inhale, try to find a little more length in the spine all the way through the crown of the head. And with every exhale, maybe you twist a little bit deeper. Now you can stay here, or you can try to firm up the left thigh and try to lift the left knee from the ground if you can keep the same length in your spine. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and return your hands to the ground. Step that right foot back. We'll find a brief child's pose, pushing hips towards the heels, stretching the arms long. Forehead coming down to the mat. Inhale, ripple forward onto your hands and knees. Exhale, pull your left foot in between your hands. And then having a block under your right hand will be great. So find some length in your spine and then open your left arm, reaching back for the back of the room here. Maybe sinking into the hips a little bit, feeling a stretch through the right hip flexor. Inhale. Exhale. Lift your torso up and reach for the back of the room with the left hand. Reach for the front of the room with the right hand. Gaze can be towards the left fingers or just keep the gaze towards the left side of your mat. Inhale. Exhale. Let the left hand find the back of the right thigh as the right arm comes up and over. If your head doesn't feel supported, if your neck is hurting here, you can bend at the elbow and support your head, your fingertips going down. Inhale. Exhale. Make sure you feel nice and supported here. Inhale. And as you exhale, reach both hands up to the sky. Tuck those back toes and really firm up that right glute, forming a nice strong pillar as you reach your fingertips up, creating more length in the spine as the left hand finds the left hip. As you start to hinge forward at the hips, reach as far forward with the right arm as you can, farther than you think. And then twist. Go ahead and bring that right elbow to the outside of the left knee, using the connection of the right elbow against the left knee to open up into that twist more. Inhaling, exhaling, twist. You can stay here or hands come together in prayer. Left elbow pointing up to the ceiling. If you feel like you're crunching up into your spine, then come out of the twist a little bit. You can firm up the right thigh if that's in your practice and lift up the right knee as you twist, turning to get your gaze up towards the ceiling if that feels good in the neck. Inhale. And exhale. Lower the knee if it's lifted. Then we'll return to a hands and knees position. Opening our knees out wide with our toes touching. Pull your hips back to your heels into child's pose. Find your breath here. So we're going to move back and forth from child's pose to kind of a cobra type of shape. So inhale and pull yourself forward, and then let your hips drop down a little bit. Only as much as feels supported in the spine. Maybe the feet move away from each other. Exhale from the tailbone. Pull your hips back to your heels as your toes come back together to touch. Inhale, ripple forward. Pull your chest through, head is last to lift. Exhale, pull your hips towards your heels as your toes come together. One more here. Inhale, pull forward. Exhale, push back to child's pose. Now from our child's pose, we're gonna come into a puppy pose. So if you remember puppy, it's similar to child's, but our feet will be separated a little bit. Our hands are extended forward. Our chest is pulling through. Butt is pointing right up to the ceiling. Maybe let the forehead rest down. Settling into this shape. Letting something go that doesn't need to be working right now. And from here, we're going to thread the right arm underneath the left shoulder, finding a thread the needle twist, maybe coming up onto the left fingertips, gaze going over to the left side of your mat. Slowing down your breath. Coming back to center, and then threading the left arm underneath the right. Reaching as far as you can through your left fingertips. Finding a nice open twist, head turning to the right, maybe up on the right fingertips. Then we're going to come back to center. And then we're going to pull ourselves through, hips finding the ground, into our Sphinx pose. So fingers are spread wide, we're up on our elbows, really pulling the chest through here. So creating length in the spine. If there's a light shining out of your chest, can you pull that light a little bit closer to the ceiling without arching your head back? So gaze stays on the horizon. Nice, gentle back bend. If you want to intensify the back bend here, totally optional. You can try pointing through the feet and then bending both knees. Maybe big toes touching. And then maybe you look up a little higher, keeping the back of the neck as long as you can, as if you're trying to spy on your toes behind you, which of course you can't see your toes, but that's okay. And then go ahead and lower down. And lower the chest to the ground. And we're gonna open up the arms wide into goalposts. So fingertips are pointing forward, palms are on the ground, elbows are bent to 90 degrees. And you can let your forehead down. If you want to rest your head on something, rolled up, small towel under your forehead or something like that. We're gonna practice lifting the left leg up and then bending at the knee, opening the hip, trying to touch the outside of the mat on the right side of the mat with your left toes. And then up on the right. And then maybe as your right toe touches down, you start to lift the elbow of the right arm and gaze turns up to the ceiling. So trying again on the other side, come back to the middle, lift up the left leg and pull it over as you lift up the left elbow. Left hand is still on the ground. We're finding a twist from a different part of our spine now, our lower spine. Now you can feel free to hold this twist or move back and forth with your breath. Inhale as you come back to the middle. Exhale as you twist up and over. Inhale. Exhale, trying to tap the ground with that big toe. And after your next twist, find a way to gracefully turn onto your back and then come up to a sitting position. So go ahead and extend your legs long. So if you have really tight hamstrings, there's a couple options here. We're going to be finding a seated forward fold. You can roll up a nice thick blanket and put it right underneath your knees, which will help keep your knees bent. Or you can just keep your knees a little bit bent. I also recommend, I should have grabbed a pillow, but if you have a big thick pillow or a thick blanket, putting it on your thighs can be supportive here. So we're going to push our hands down and lengthen the spine. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, start to hinge forward from the hips. Any amount is enough. Just finding a place where your chest can get a little closer to your thighs, and you start to feel a stretch through your hamstrings, maybe your low back. Finding a place where you can settle in and be comfortable. Maybe you cross your arms and let your head rest on the backs of your hands. Or maybe you grab on for your ankles, your feet, if that's accessible to you. And try to breathe into a new space. So allowing your breath to enter somewhere that feels tight and providing nourishment, providing new blood flow and oxygen, helping to open up something that you are holding back. Go ahead and start to walk back up. Find a nice tall spine again, and then open your legs up a little bit, whatever feels good to you. And this could be a good time, and I should have said it for the seated forward fold as well, to sit up on something, to give your spine a little bit of extra space to be tall. So it can be really helpful to put a nice folded blanket underneath your pelvis. So we're going to turn our chest to face our left hand. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. And as we exhale, reach for the outside of that left ankle with the right hand. All 10 toes pointing directly up to the sky. If you can't reach your foot, if you can't reach your ankle, then just reach wherever you can, the outside of the knee. We're going for a little twisting sensation here. So inhale. Lengthen the spine, lengthen the crown of the head towards the front of the room. Exhale, find a little bit more of a twist. Maybe it feels good to just fold onto that leg and not do so much of a twist here. Whatever feels nice to you. This is your practice. Start to crawl yourself back up and get tall again. We're going to turn the chest to face the right leg. Inhale, arms up to the ceiling, nice and tall. Exhale, reach for the outside of that left leg, the left ankle, the left foot, and turn your chest over to the right. And I definitely meant to say the right leg, right ankle, not left. Words are hard. Come back to the middle, and maybe with toes still pointing up, you find a little bit of a walk forward in between your legs. Maybe you start to go down onto your elbows. If you have blocks, which I should have mentioned, you can fold onto blocks, elbows down on the blocks. Feeling that sensation through your inner thighs and your hamstrings. Getting those props out of the way if you're using them. Making sure you have your strap, your towel. And then laying gently back onto your back. So go ahead and bend your right knee and pull it close to you and wrap your fingers around the back of your thigh. So we're going to try to straighten out the right knee, trying to get the bottom of the right foot pointing up to the ceiling. So if you feel like you're straining, you got to lift up your head and your chest or anything like that. If you feel like your arms aren't long enough, we'll go ahead right now and use the strap. Otherwise, just keep engaging your hamstrings or keep engaging your quadriceps, the muscles in the front of your leg, to try to straighten the knee. Make sure you're flexed through the left foot, so left toes are pointing up to the ceiling. So either way, using a strap, or if you feel like you can reach higher up your leg, you can reach for your ankle or for your foot. But we're going to start to slowly, with lots of control, bring the right leg and twist it over to the left side of the mat. Maybe the foot finds the ground, or maybe you bring it to a prop. If this is feeling really tight on the outside of your hips, your hamstrings, your back, you can just bend your knee, maybe letting the inside of your knee rest on a prop, and then open up into your twist. If you're keeping your leg long, just keep it there. Maybe you find that you can grab for your toe or the ball of your foot with your left hand. And if not, then that is totally fine. And go ahead and either grabbing for your leg with your hands or with the strap, go ahead and pull that leg back to the middle, let it go. And we'll do the same thing on the left. So bending the left knee, flexing at the right foot so right toes are pointing up, interlacing fingers behind the left hamstring, and then try to point the bottom of the foot up to the ceiling. I like to move around at the foot a little bit here, pointing and flexing the left foot, maybe doing some circles with the ankle. And then if you're using a strap, go ahead and put the strap around the ball of the foot. And we'll start to slowly guide that left leg, making sure that you have a block set up if you're using that. Eventually the left foot finds the ground or the block, or you bend at the left knee and just let the knee find the ground or the block. Wherever you are, you're finding a nice gentle twist that feels good, where you can relax. You can keep the back of your left shoulder planted so it's not lifting up. Rather, the shoulder blade is planted against the ground. Whenever you have your next exhale, we'll start to guide the leg back to the middle and let go of the strap. Pull both knees into your chest, grabbing for behind each hamstring. Pulling your knees towards your shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. If you want, you can stay here or you can grab for the outsides of your feet, keeping your tailbone firmly planted, our happy baby pose. Whenever you're ready or doing any last movements that would feel good to you, we'll go ahead and stretch the legs long, settling into stillness, Savasana. Maybe your palms turn up to the ceiling. Feel yourself being supported by the earth. And taking as much time as you can possibly spare to stay in rest. We're finishing your practice here. I want to thank you for being here and dedicating your time and your energy into this. I hope this practice felt good for you. Namaste.